You love animals. You know that intuitive animal communication is real. You want to be able to do it, but for whatever reason, it's not happening. Animal communication should be easy, right? It should be a smooth path with a linear progression, and you're always getting better, and there's no bumps in the road. Well, if you've gotten stuck, maybe you've taken a class but not been successful, or you're not receiving intuitive messages from animals even though you can send them, I know why. I know why that's happening, and I know what to help you do so that you can get past that and have your dream come true. And that's my goal in this video. I want to give you a broader context so you can understand what's going on and why you're stuck or why you're not succeeding. And I'm going to give you something new to do if you get blocked or stuck or frustrated again in the future. Welcome to Animal Communication with Dr. Cara. This is a YouTube video as well as a podcast. I'm Dr. Cara Gubbins, professional animal communicator and founder of the Animal Communicator Academy. My mission is to help all animal lovers become confident animal communicators so they can help their pets or become a professional animal communicator or add animal communication to their current profession. My vision is to have an animal communicator in every home, every town, every city, every country, every continent, every veterinarian's office, every rescue center, every shelter, everywhere that people and animals are interacting. I want to see an animal communicator there. So let's dive into this though, because I think that the context that we're learning animal communication in is super, super important. And the way that I learned and the way that I teach animal communication is a spiritual context. So let's talk about the context, and then I'm going to explain what are the bumps in the road? What are the things that stop you or hold you up or, that you're bumping up against that are keeping you from being successful? So, the spiritual context is that you are a divine being having a human experience. Animal communication, intuitive animal communication, is two divine beings having a conversation. So, we all have gifts to share, we all have lessons to learn. Our lessons are our spiritual curriculum, and our gifts are what we're here to make the world a better place. We're going to share them and use them and make the world a better place. And our spiritual curriculum is what we're here to learn and to heal. So it turns out that when we move forward with our gifts, such as intuitive animal communication, which is an ability that we all have, it's going to lead us to learning some of our spiritual lessons. So, as you are bringing forward your intuitive animal communication gifts, you will also have some lessons to learn. I think of them as soul lessons or spiritual lessons, but we'll just call them lessons. So, you can imagine an XY axis. And on the X, on the, across the horizontal, that's moving towards your goal in the physical world. So, whatever your goal is, to complete an animal communication class, to reach a certain skill level with intuitive animal communication, you can think about that as like starting here, ending here, and you're moving along that axis. That's your goal line. You're moving along the goal line. And then the y-axis is the soul line. And this is where we measure the inner healing, the personal growth, the mindset that is part of everything that we do. So as we're moving towards our goals, we're going to keep going forward as long as we're in our spiritual comfort zone, right? And so once we reach the end of that comfort zone, we're going to get stuck. We're going to get blocked. And the only thing to do at that point is to do the inner work, the mindset work, the soul line work. So we're going to update our belief system. We're going to heal some old wounds. I'm going to talk more about the details of that in a minute, but I just want to orient you to why you're feeling blocked or stuck? Blocked. Are you feeling blocked? I don't think so. I think you're feeling stuck, or you might be feeling blocked, but not blocked. Um, so that's kind of the context. As we move towards a goal, if we get into any territory that on the inner level feels threatening or unsafe or anything like that, we have to expand our comfort zone by doing the inner mindset work. So, what might come up? Those are what I call blocks, animal communication blocks. So, when you are moving towards a goal and you get blocked or stuck, these are the feelings, the thoughts that stop us from moving forward, that stop us from learning, that stop us from practicing, that stop us from really achieving our goal of intuitive communication with animals. And these blocks are caused by unconscious limiting beliefs. It's a big phrase, but it's so important. We are thinking, feeling beings all the time, and we have so many beliefs, and so many of them we're not aware of at all. That's how we can operate on autopilot and do things without having to think about every single little thing that we're doing. We kind of figure out how something works, and then we just go and do it without having to think about it. So these blocks are created during our early experiences in our lives when we're children. And we unconsciously kind of take in what's happening to us and we make up stories about it. And that's what that based on our understanding of what's happening, based on the things that we see. And that's how we create our belief system. So, for example, if as a child you were told you're bad at math, right? Maybe a teacher or a parent said something to you about being bad at math. Well, you think, oh, they know everything. I must be bad at math. You then just take on that belief and you internalize that, and that becomes your unconscious limiting belief because it's holding you back. It's limiting you in what you're going to do and try and feel comfortable with. So in the future, you're going to avoid math related subjects. You're going to be like, no, I'm just not good at math. I'm not going to take those science classes because they require math. I'm not going to take advanced algebra because I'm not good at math. But what if that person was wrong? What if you actually are good at math and you were just bumping up against needing to learn a certain piece of information or needing to learn a certain skill at that age, but you believed them and said, I'm bad at math. So now you're going through life thinking you're bad at math, but you don't think it consciously, you just internalize it. And that's an unconscious limiting belief. So imagine that fast forward, you're an adult and you're in a job and your boss says, go add up these numbers or go create a graph of these numbers or, something math related. Well, you're going to freak out because you have this belief that you're not good at math. And so you're going to avoid it, you're going to procrastinate, you're going to, for whatever reason, perceive this as dangerous or scary. Your fight or flight or freeze response will get activated. And we avoid anything that we perceive as danger on that unconscious level by distraction or procrastination. So if, for example, you have an unconscious limiting belief that, you know, animal communicators are born. You either have it or you don't. Well, and then you take a class because you want to become an animal communicator. You might find like you just don't practice for that class, or you show up, but you're not there fully, or something else is always a higher priority. It's not that you're trying to avoid it, it's just that all this other stuff comes up. So, let's go back to our math example. So say you're bad at math and you're called on to do math in front of the class. Well, you might get sweaty palms, your heart rate might go up, your breathing rate might go up, you might have a hard time thinking because our brain flows away from the thinking part of our brain to the survival part of our brain. These are all symptoms of your fight or flight or freeze stress response. It's getting activated in response to a situation that has been associated with something really unpleasant in the past that you want to avoid. So you can take this math example and project it onto anything about animal communication. And we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. So this is what is going on beneath the surface. So as you're moving towards your goal, you're going to bump up against this wall. That's what you've experienced. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're blocked. That's why you haven't succeeded yet. And the thing that most people don't understand is why that block has shown up and what to do about it. So, first, you need to recognize that. And the way to recognize what's going on is that you get upset in some way. So, upsets are anything that is less than copacetic, right? Anything that is less than life is groovy is an upset. This is a flare up of unresolved issues from your past. That's all that that means. It doesn't mean you can never do this. It doesn't mean you'll never succeed. It just means that you've reached the limit of what you can do with this comfort zone, and you just have to expand your comfort zone. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So when we're upset, when we're blocked, it just means it's time to do our work on the soul line. And the good news is because we're doing this within a spiritual context, this is your curriculum. This is why you came here in this lifetime. It's what you came here to heal. And these are the spiritual lessons that you came here to learn. And isn't it so cool? Because you're getting that opportunity every time you get upset. It just changes everything, right? It's a total paradigm shift. So when you've recognized a block because you're upset, then how do you overcome it? There's a bunch of ways to do that. So you can just recognize the pattern. Oh, I've always had to go to the dentist whenever I had to practice for my class or whatever. You can change your behavior. Once you recognize the pattern, that is the key, right? Because now you're in charge. It's not happening unconsciously. You've brought it up into the conscious. So you can change your behavior. You can change your beliefs. You can see things in a new way. You can feel the feelings that you've been avoiding. You can feel how crappy it felt to have your teacher or your parents say, "You're bad at math," when you thought you were good at math, right? Like that's upsetting. That's some strong emotional stuff, but you can feel those feelings, then you're not holding on to them, and then that pattern can be healed. You can say the words that you didn't get to say in the past. So many of us as children aren't allowed to just express ourselves. And so when we're upset, adults tell us to be quiet. So this is a great opportunity to say, just say out loud. You don't have to say it to anybody else. Just say it out loud to yourself, whatever you couldn't say, whatever you wished you could have said to that person. And you can do it from your adult perspective. You can be like, screw you, adult. I can do this. I need your help. Why aren't you helping me? So you can have fun with this and it can still be healing. You could try freeform writing where you just write down all of your thoughts and your feelings and stream of consciousness. Just get it all out, everything that's been held up in there. So you can do all of these things and try some self-forgiveness. I forgive myself for judging myself as bad at math. I forgive myself for getting mad at myself when I procrastinated on practicing animal communication. Now I understand. I was just bumping up against my soul line work. I was bumping up against my comfort zone. I get it now. I forgive myself for getting so upset. The truth is, I can do this. So, forgiveness, truth statements, updating those old beliefs, if you can identify what that belief is. I really believed that I had no intuition. The truth is, I do. Everybody does, right? I'm a human being, therefore, I have intuitive abilities. So, you can get these feelings out, say the words that have been bottled up inside of you, forgive yourself for being harsh or mean or judgy with yourself. And then, your new truth is just going to be right there. Like, I can do this. I can keep going. I can keep trying, right? So the bottom line here is that This happens to pretty much everybody who learns intuitive animal communication. You are not alone if you are having this experience. And when you can put your experience within the spiritual context of you're a divine being, having a human experience, you have gifts to share, you have lessons to learn, and you understand how blocks get created, and then you created them. So as an adult now, you can uncreate them and you can create new beliefs. So you can, take these old unconscious beliefs out of the dark into the light, look at them, say, do I want to keep this one or not? Do I want to update this? And then you can create a new belief to replace it. And that's how we move forward, step by step, one upset at a time. And as you do this work, you start to clear a path. For some of us, it takes a while. For me, it took a year, over a year of doing this work on a regular basis. I was in a master's degree program in spiritual psychology. I cleared so many upsets, upset after upset. I had I had 6 papers due every month when I went to class. So I was clearing one upset every week for a year and a half before I had my breakthrough, the one that was that keystone belief that was holding me back from being successful. I had everything I needed inside me. I had all the training, all the practice. It was my unconscious limiting belief that was blocking me. And once I cleared that one up, it was like the floodgates were open and animal communication was available to me all the time. So don't listen to your negative self-talk. Don't let a bump in the road or an upset or, feeling like you're not making progress make you quit. Keep going. We need you. The animals need you. The planet needs you. And you can overcome these unconscious limiting beliefs. You can clear these blocks. It's part of the whole everything. It's like built into the Animal Communicator Academy. And I have a whole clearing your animal communication block workshop that's dedicated just to this, to the top 10 blocks that hold people back. And I surveyed thousands of people to get those top 10, and we clear them in that workshop. So I'll leave all of the information about the Animal Communicator Academy and the Clearing Your Animal Communication Blocks workshop in the show notes and the description below, so that if that's calling to you, it's available. Let me walk you through it. I got your back. Like, you can do this, and I want you to be successful. And I want you to know that if you have this dream, if you're working towards this goal, you can achieve it. It is achievable, no matter what has happened so far. And I think one of the strengths of understanding this spiritual context is that you can overcome it. And so when I have people come to me all the time and they say, I've tried it and it hasn't worked, I'm like, cool, bring it on, because I know what you need to do to get over that, to clear that block, to make progress again. And we're going to keep you doing that. It's not like you're going to have one block. Like, for me, I had one big one. That was the last one. But I had a whole year and a half of work leading up to that one. Not that it will take you that long, but we have to just keep dealing with these one by one by one until we get to the one that is the critical one. And at the same time, you want to be practicing all the skills. That's what moves you forward on the goal line. That's what leads you to your blocks. And that's what builds your skills so you can be really good at this. So I feel like I might be talking in circles at this point, but I want you to just really understand that whatever your experience is, no matter how stuck or blocked you feel like you are or have been, it's okay. You can overcome this. You can heal this. You can make progress. You can move forward. And it's really about leaning into that upset instead of shying away from it, right? So there's more to this. This is the overview. I just want you to get the context so you can understand it. I hope this is helpful. If you want to come learn animal communication with me, check out the Animal Communicator Academy at caragubbins.com/ACA. And if you want to check out the Clear Your Animal Communication Block workshop, I'll put the link below, but that's also on my website at caragubbins.com. And if there's anything else you want me to address in one of these videos slash podcasts, just let me know in the comments and I would be happy to do that. So keep going. You got this, and I am cheering you on. Have a great day. Bye.